265 day of the war of Ukraine, Mediacentru Ukraine. My name is Vasil Samukhvalo. We are starting our briefing and we have our guest Nataliia Nestor. She is the deputy head of the scientific work of the Kyiv Scientific and Research Institute of the Court Expertise of the Ministry of Justice of Ukraine. We also have an online presence of Andrii Haichenko, the Deputy Minister of Justice of Ukraine. He is with us online. And also our guest from Luxembourg, we will tell it later on. We also are expecting Hoffmann, the person military assistant coordinator in Luxembourg, and our topic is that Luxembourg actually has sent a 3D scanner by means of which you can scan really large territories and collect proofs of the war crimes. I have several questions. What is this and how does it work? Why is it important? Slava Ukraini! I thank you. Thanks everyone for your attention to our work. Unfortunately, the expert environment since the full-scale invasion of Russia has encountered a lot of challenges because we see a lot of different atrocities and war crimes which need objective assessment. And of course, a digital argumentation and we understand the collection of the proofs of the war crimes of Russia right now is very topical, and therefore our management and as well as the government turned to the technologically advanced countries with a request to provide proper equipment as well as software. And Luxembourg, in response to our request on November 10th, 2022, particularly by the Francois Boucher, the Prime Minister, initiated 30 3D scanners, innovative devices in order to receive proofs in 3D format with the estimate of 1.3 million euro. And right now we see that, and even right now as of 8 a.m. These scanners has crossed the border of Ukraine. Therefore, we are looking for another support. These are 20 cars for the Ukrainian armed forces. The first party is about to come in the near future, and the last party will be till the end of the year. Could you please dwell upon how these scanners operate? What do they do? How they collect these proofs? What do we have as an outcome, and who is dealing with them? So these details are interesting. First of all, these are innovative devices. They are unique, wireless, and actually we do not need any source of power. They have batteries. Also, it's interesting that these scanners, they are produced and collected in Luxembourg, and all the spare parts also are made in Luxembourg. Where are they used? They have a wide range of the usage, but actually we are interested in the criminal usage. Therefore, all the advanced countries use these scanners, policemen, in order to reconstruct the events in the scene of crimes, expert events. They are used in reconstruction of the circumstances at the crime scene, at the scene of the accidents, and also they fix the damages of the deceased, of the killed, of the casualties, and also they can provide criminal analysis of the tools that has been used. Apart from them, they are used in the court and medicine reconstruction. Also, they are used to keep the circumstances, again, to make in the proceeding of the car accidents as well. Could you please explain to the people who are not familiar with all these things? Just some moment, technical. Some people, how physically this process is elaborated. So the main top trick advantages of these scanners is that in course of 1 hour, a person who is not very proficient as this device, this person can really be taught with this. A certain expert comes, targets it to a certain object, then there is the synchronization with computer, and then we have the 3D programming in computer and actually recreation of it, of the object. So actually we see the 3D construction and picture, and you can see it from different angles, and what will we have at the outcome? It fastens the process of investigation, because we need to fixate the location of the event, of the accident, is like 2+ hours. By means of this scanner, you can do it in 1 hour and 0.5. Again, everything is faster. Again, the information is passed through the computer disks, and it is preserved in this dimension. We have Andrii Haichenko, the Deputy Minister of Justice of Ukraine. Mr. Andrii, these scanners, how do you think these scanners, how legitimate they are in our legislative environment, how we can use them, and how they can be used as part of some proofs? Oh, I welcome everyone. We have good news today. Prior to answering to your question, I would like to express my gratitude on behalf of me, on behalf of the Ukrainian people, on Ukrainian government, to Luxembourg. I would like to thank to Francois Bausch, to hold the Luxembourg government, and again, Mr. Colonel Hoffmann. Hopefully he has joined us. We really appreciate your support, as any other support, but these 3D scanners are of immense importance today, not only for the system of the Ministry of Justice, but to the whole Ukrainian people, and I will explain why. Secondly, I would like to thank to Ms. Natalie, who is here right now in Natalia, who really made her best. He implemented this project, and she brought this number of these 3D scanners. Actually, it really will help us to cover all the needs of the Ministry of Justice, because we understand that apart from the Kyiv Institute, there are also 5 powerful institutions, expert institutions, who are fully involved on the deoccupied territories and also on some lines of engagement. Our experts go to every event, being it, for example, shelling in the energy object, because right now we abound in this, or when we have the destroying of the military facility or killing of civilians. And also we remember the missile for children which hit Kramatorsk railway station. Everywhere it was possible to recreate this scene of this crime, and of course there are far more which I cannot voice online. And our experts really follow our armed forces. This work is vital because since our institutes from different levels, they receive the possibility to work with these scanners, we are able to provide additional security and safety to our employees. This is top priority. These scanners, apart from how we do it, how we used to do it, probably you have seen it, that we should have a ruler near bullet. Of course, that takes a lot of time. A lot of objects also are mined, and after some UAVs or missiles hit some place, there is it is really likely that there can be some explosions at this object in this place, and these are our objects and our experts. The speaker is muted. The voice is interrupted, so we will go back to Ms. Natalie. Ms. Natalie, how this scanner operates, for example, in Kramatorsk or in Bucha, how fast we can understand this situation? Okay, so what we receive is that our experts take the scanners, and they are actually prior to I went to Luxembourg. We actually managed to test them and approbate them, whether we really need these devices. And actually it was the conscientious choice. So we go to the venue. As rightly said, the deputy minister said, we follow armed forces. First armed forces go, then the experts follow them in order to record all the war crimes committed by the Russian authorities against Ukrainian people. We have the scanners with us. They have certain software. They're equipped with special technical devices, and each expert has it because we have enough of them, and they scan the object that has been damaged. For example, this is the building or a car or a corpse. Everything is being recorded and immediately is added to the software on computer and is stored there. So again, this is a digital proof because we are having a digitalization ongoing in our country, therefore is usual process. Hopefully we have the connection connected. So we have stopped on the stage of security and safety and the safety proofs collection. It cannot be overestimated because each employee of ours, they are very valuable for us. We have to value their life, and therefore we will have the opportunity to have higher safety. How the collected evidence can be used in the future. No one doubts that Putin and all the military war crimes are to have tribunal, and in order to document all these war crimes, in order to submit them to the international courts and tribunals, this is our top task. It is not this task is not on top, but it is very important for all the people of Ukraine, because without proper documentation of war crimes, it's really almost next to impossible to prove the guilt of all those war criminals in the international institutions. We understand that about 39,000 of war crimes, the violation of the Geneva Convention, have been already recorded. Just mind the number. This number, I think, is really higher because each case out of this 39,000 cases, there should be proper documentation. What was the shell? What type of the shell? Whether the Russian army, what division, what type of arms have been used? And actually, the most important was the level of destruction, whether the whole object has been destructed or whether the building is possible to be renovated. We have two aspects of the documentation. First of all, a criminal aspect, the military tribunal, in order to imprison all the military war criminals. And the second aspect is the compensation, the reparations. Because yesterday, also by means of my colleague, the Irena Mudra, Ukraine actually managed that the UN adopted the resolution on the compensation of all the damages caused by the military action of Russia against Ukraine. UN stands with us, international community stands with us, but actually to somehow prove all these digits and the current damage on international arena in international tribunals, we undoubtedly should have the qualitative documentation of these war crimes. Therefore, we are really looking forward to the using of the devices provided by Luxembourg. We are very grateful, I repeat again, that we are very grateful to Luxembourg and to our expert team headed by Nataliia Volodymyryvna, who really did her best. And right now, part of the Ministry of Justice is able to be competitive, and we understand that these methods are used by all the experts in the whole world, and we are not to use the old-fashioned methods in order not to face the problems with the proving of certain crimes in international arena, because they are used to the fact that certain equipment is to be used in order to document such crimes. Thank you very much. I have two questions. Who is to use these scanners? Either this will be the prosecutor's office, a policeman, or the employees of the institute who will go on a request. And the second question is, you said about the is there some accreditation or certificate? How all this is acknowledged on the international legislation, the international institution level? This equipment is really sophisticated. It's it's like possible to scan 200 meters within 2 minutes. It is possible. Therefore, it's really necessary to have certain international certification, and it's important for the people who use in the international institutions. Ministry of Justice of Ukraine has 6 such centers: Lviv, Kyiv, Dnipropetrovsk, and other institutes. Neither prosecutor's office nor policemen work with them. There are certain as for the certification, I would like to say that there is a national certification, international certification by ISO standards. Also, there are certificates as far as the preparation level and educational level is concerned. We have all the capabilities. We have the trained experts. We have also others who are to be trained in future and will receive all the necessary documents, because we need to have everything clear. We have to take care of all the red tape. We need to make it in a proper way. Thank you, Mr. Andrii. I know you have to leave. Thank you for the information you provided. And we go back to Ms. Natalie. How many experts are ready right now to work with this equipment? And how many experts are to be involved in future that will work for years in future? Thank you for the questions. We have agreed with the management of Luxembourg that we are going to have certain trainings, and our expert will be trained online and in person. We will visit foreign countries in order to enhance the level of capacities. As for now, we actually are ready to use. Our institute has 40 experts in our institute. And also we have different directions of the court expertise. They are ready to use the scanners, but we are actually visiting. We are waiting for them to come in Kyiv. I'm asking our technical team whether we have Mr. Artem Yuhin, the president of the company. Okay. Unfortunately. Yeah, we see Mr. Artem. Could you please tell us more about, welcome first of all, could you please tell us more about these scanners? What are the devices? How does it work? And how much does they cost, actually, the information that can be valuable for our Ukrainian audience?
Inviting us. So our scanners, Leo 3D scanner, is very popular among forensic experts all over the world. So we have such partners as police and secret service and forensic institutes all over the world, from Japan to United States and in Europe, Dutch police. And we already know that because of our scanners, there were few very important investigations that were done successfully worldwide, but also they are used in everyday work by forensic experts, simply because they allow to shorten the time to document the evidence. So instead of long measurement or photographing all the scene, you can immediately scan a big crime scene, and then you have all the evidences, all the objects, all the details, and so that that is very helpful. So we are very proud and happy that Ministry of Defense, Directorate of Defense of Luxembourg, decided to help Ukraine. We all stand with Ukraine, and we are very proud that our technology can help in investigation of war crimes and bring these terrorists to justice. So we're very happy that it will help.
Розкажіть, може, більше
Could you please help also dwell upon about some more countries where the maybe you have some particular case of the successful use of the scanners? We really are keen to know this.
Sorry, can somebody translate for me? I'm not very proficient in Ukrainian. Sorry.
чи можна завести англійську доріжку?
Could you please tell us about... You mentioned several countries. You mentioned US, you mentioned the Netherlands police and some other countries that use these scanners. Could you please dwell upon more? How many scanners are used around the world? Він не чує, друзі. Can you hear us out? Can you hear us now?
Now yes, but previously I didn't.
Окей. Попросіть, будь ласка, ще раз повторити запитаннячко. Або я тоді коротенько йому. Я коротенько йому, добре? Я коротенько зараз йому. Okay, so just I will be brief. You mentioned several countries. You mentioned the US. You mentioned some other countries, the Netherlands, where the scanners are used. Could you please just be more specific, on the number of the scanners that are used all around the world, or maybe some particular case of successful usage of this? Just, our audience is interested in this.
Okay, sure. In general, we are selling thousands and thousands of scanners every year. In terms of police and forensic examples, I can give you example of Japan. Japan is our customer for more than 10 years. And they purchased our previous model, Artec Eva, and now Artec Leo, to all prefectures of Japan. Actually, in each region, in each police department, they have Artec Eva and Artec Leo. And they use it for many purposes, mainly for evidence collection, but also it allows to recognize suspects. So they do what they call arrest booking, so they scan all the people being arrested and then compare it to mug shots and to CCTV videos. So this is another interesting case. So I think they bought in total 100 of scanners. I know that UK police is using Artec Leo and Artec Spider for so-called craniofacial reconstruction. Is when you have bones or remains of the people that unfortunately is at a large scale now in Ukraine, and then you want, without DNA analysis, because DNA analysis is normally very expensive and very long, but you want to reconstruct facial appearance, or you want to identify a person using the bones, the skull. So there is the method and the software that allows to take the 3D scan that is very easy to get with our scanner, and then to compare to photographs of people who are missed. And then if this is a skull of one of these people, you will get a very strong confirmation of it. So that's how they use it in UK. In US, among others, FBI and road police is using our scanners. So I know that the famous case of Boston shooter, maybe many of audience remember about the Boston shooter. I know that our scanners were used. I know about big investigation that happened in Ukraine, on the territory of Ukraine a few years ago, where our scanners are used, but I'm unfortunately not able to disclose the case because it's still open. But it's a big international investigation where our scanners are used. So there are many cases where they help. Dutch police, as you mentioned, is our client also for more than 10 years, and they use it in the day-by-day practice. And of course, Luxembourg police, because we're a Luxembourgian company, Luxembourg police is also our client.
Дякую дуже пану Артему.
Thank you very much for the information provided. I hope it will be really helpful to us. And the last question to you, Miss Natalie, how it will work here in Ukraine. As I have already mentioned, today at 8 a.m., our scanners cross the border of Ukraine. I actually track all of this, and the car with the devices follow to Kyiv, and we will unload them there. And I hope that in the nearest days we will put these scanners to the other institutions, and from the next week we will start work. Thank you very much for the information, and I hope that it will help us. Yes, I actually was really impressed that the Boston shooter case and the scanners were used in this case investigation. We had today with us Ms. Nataliia Nestor, the deputy head on the scientific work of the Kyiv Institute of Forensic Expertise of the Ministry of Justice of Ukraine. We had with us Ms. Andrii, the deputy minister of Ukraine, and we also had Artem Yukin, the president of 3D company in Luxembourg. We were talking about the 30 3D scanners that were passed and given to Ukraine. These scanners really help us to record and to detect the war crimes of Russia against Ukraine. So we will have our next meeting in midday.